Today, you will hear something most people in Canada have never been told. Today, you will get to know facts and numbers that don't match, answers that keep changing, and questions that no one seems comfortable answering. What if I told you that tens of thousands of people who were ordered to leave Canada are still here today? What if you were previously told the government knows where they are? But today you find out the actual number is far higher than what Canadians were led to believe. This is not just a debate. This directly affects your safety, your tax dollars, your job opportunities, and your future in Canada. If you care about Canada, if you live here or plan to build a life here, you need to watch this till the end. Because what you are about to hear may change the way you think forever. If you skip the video in middle, might be you will lose some important information which you will not get to know from anyone.
C-12 is directly related to our strong border. The minister was here last time and we are holding him to account for things he said. I don't know how that's irrelevant, and I've been interrupted 3 times in 4 minutes by the Liberals.
This is where the first crack in the story appears. For months, Canadians were told a clear message that about 30,000 foreign nationals with removal orders were going through the system. We were told they were in a queue. We were told the government knew their addresses. We were told the process was under control. But in this moment, that number is directly challenged. A simple question is asked. If the number was 30,000, why are officials now admitting the real number is closer to 62,000? That is not a rounding error. That is not a small mistake. That is tens of thousands of people who were never part of the public story. This question matters because if the numbers were wrong, everything built on those numbers is now in doubt. Watch this first clip carefully because it sets the stage for everything that comes next.
Last time at committee, Minister, when we've been talking a lot about foreign nationals, we talked about 30,000 removal orders, and you said, quote, Mr. Caputo, there are 30,000 people who are going through the system and they are going to be removed. They are in queue. We know their addresses, end quote. Now, it turns out, Minister, that there are actually 62,000 or were 62,000 people because your officials told us there were 62,000 and you said that...
Now can you believe 32,000 people ordered to leave Canada are still at large? Does the government really know where they are? This question comes up because the numbers given to Canadians do not add up. Officials said 30,000 people were in the system, tracked and accounted for. But it later emerged that the real number is 62,000, and the government cannot confirm where are those 32,000 people. And next you will hear the Frank Caputo being pressured to confirm whether the addresses of the 32,000 people at large are known. You will see how the question is avoided and delayed, and how the gap between what Canadians think they know and what is actually happening becomes clear. Listen carefully because this reveals hidden details that directly affect life in Canada. Important points need to hear. Half of the people under removal orders are unaccounted for, showing the government does not have full control over immigration enforcement. Knowing addresses does not mean action. Just because locations are known does not mean they will be removed, creating risks for communities. Delays and lack of transparency erode public trust, making Canadians question official data.
They don't want the minister to speak about relevant things. That's not my problem. That is the Liberals' problem. I will carry on. I'd ask that I could have that question because I have to start it from the top again. Minister, I asked you 62,000 people. You knew about 30,000. So you didn't know about where half of the people were. And you said, we know their addresses. Do you know the addresses of the 32,000 people who are at large without warrant? Just a yes or no, please.
If the government admits 32,000 people are being sought for removal, what does "we have contact in some form" actually mean? This question comes up because after pressing for a yes or no answer, the response shifts from clear numbers to vague language. Canadians hear terms like "contact in some form" and "seeking to remove." But those phrases do not explain where these people are or why they are still here. You will hear the next minister, Gary, finally respond with official numbers. You will hear an admission that there are about 30,000 cases in progress and 32,000 more people who are being sought for removal. This is the moment where the government confirm, on record, that a massive number of people with removal orders are still not removed. This directly affects life in Canada because it raises questions about enforcement, safety, system capacity, and honesty with the public. The most important detail is not just the number, it is how casually it is presented. Important points need to hear. Official confirmation of 32,000 people being sought means this is not speculation, it is government data. Phrases like contact in some form show a lack of clear tracking and accountability. When large numbers remain unresolved, it puts strain on border enforcement, social systems, and public confidence. Canadians are expected to trust the system, but trust requires clear answers, not vague explanations.
Mr. Caputo, the numbers you're referencing are available on the CBSA website under removals, and I will direct you to there. There are right now removals in progress. There are 30,733. There are individuals that we do have contact with in some form or another. There are currently 32,000 who are in the area wanted who we are seeking to remove.
If the government says they have the addresses, why are thousands of people still not being arrested or removed? This question comes up because for the first time, the answer is no longer vague. The minister clearly states they do have addresses for the 32,000 people they are seeking to remove. Once that is admitted, a new and more serious question immediately follows. If you know where they are, what is stopping action? You will hear a direct follow-up that many Canadians would ask themselves. The logic is simple. Addresses plus warrants should lead to arrests. But instead of a clear explanation, you will see the response shift toward procedure and time. This moment is critical because it shows the gap between knowledge and action, and how delays at the top can affect real life for people living in Canada. This is where confidence in the system starts to break down. Important points need to hear. Admitting that addresses exist removes any excuse about lack of information. Delays in arrests raise questions about priorities and enforcement capacity. When laws are not acted on, they lose deterrent power and credibility. Canadians bear the consequences when accountability is postponed or avoided.
Again, please answer my question. Do you have addresses for the 32,000 you are seeking to remove as you told us last time? Yes or no?
We do have addresses, Mr. Caputo.
You have addresses for 32,000 people for whom there are warrants? Okay, Minister, the natural question is, if you have addresses for them, why aren't they being arrested right now?
Mr. Caputo, for questions like this, you do need to give me some time to answer these questions.
If the addresses may not be accurate, why were Canadians told they knew where these people were? This question comes up because the answer finally changes. After confirming that addresses exist, the minister now admits that those addresses may not be reliable. This is important to understand because it directly contradicts earlier assurances given to Canadians. When information shifts from certainty to uncertainty, next the minister tried to clarify the situation. You will hear that address data may be outdated and that the responsibility is being placed on CBSA to verify and act. You will also hear a claim that the government is on track to remove over 20,000 people this year. This matters because it reveals a gap between promises and practical reality, and it shows how delays and data issues can directly affect communities, resources, and public confidence across Canada. The key detail hiding here is not the target number. It is the admission that the information itself may not be solid. Important points need to hear. Admitting addresses may not be accurate undermines previous claims of control and tracking. Shifting responsibility to agencies without clear timelines creates delays and confusion. Target numbers sound strong, but without verified data, they offer little assurance. Inconsistent information makes it hard for Canadians to trust future announcements or policies.
Right, so if I could elaborate, yes, we do have addressed this. They may not be accurate. The veracity of that is up to the CBSA, and they're working to expedite the removals. As I've indicated in the past, we're on target to remove over 20,000 people this year.
This question comes up because while serious issues are being discussed, removals, security, and foreign influence, there is still no clear answer on when oversight was supposed to begin. This matters because commissioners are not symbolic roles. They are meant to provide independent scrutiny and protection. Without a date, without an appointment, accountability is delayed, and delay creates vulnerability. Next video, you will hear a simple question being asked repeatedly, not about process, not about future plans, just about when the Foreign Interference Commissioner was supposed to be appointed. Instead of a date, you will hear general promises and open-ended timelines. This directly affects Canadians because foreign interference touches elections, infrastructure, and national security. The important thing hiding here is not what is said, it is what is not said. Important points need to hear. Delaying oversight roles leaves critical systems without independent review. Vague timelines make it impossible to measure accountability or failure. Foreign interference directly impacts democracy, security, and public trust. When simple questions have no dates, it signals a lack of urgency at the top.
When was the Foreign Interference Commissioner supposed to be appointed, Minister?
I've indicated this a number of times. They will be appointed in short order. We are finalizing, and we will bring forward a name to colleagues opposite for feedback.
That's not what I asked you, Minister. Again, please answer the questions I ask. When was the Foreign Interference Commissioner supposed to be appointed?
If this was supposed to be a simple date, why can't the government say when it was due? This question comes up because after multiple attempts, the answer still does not arrive. Canadians are not hearing a complex policy question. They are hearing a basic ask for a date. You will hear the minister acknowledge that the appointment should have happened earlier. You will also hear references to process without any specific timeline. This is the moment where frustration becomes clear, because the question is no longer about policy. It is about why a commitment was missed. This affects people in Canada because delayed oversight means delayed protection from foreign influence in areas that touch democracy and national decisions. The key detail hiding here is the admission that time has already been lost. Important points need to hear. Admitting it should have been done earlier confirms a missed deadline. Talking about process without dates prevents real accountability. Oversight delays can leave democratic systems exposed. Canadians deserve clear timelines when national security is involved.
We have been working towards appointing a Foreign Interference Commissioner. I wish this was done much earlier. As you're aware, we're going through a process.
Minister, I asked you a 5-second question, and I should get a 5-second answer because it was supposed to be a date. Okay, this could not be a more clear question, Minister. When was the Foreign Interference Commissioner supposed to be appointed? Just the date, please.
If foreign interference is not germane. Here then, where does accountability actually apply? This question comes up because after a long exchange about dates and delays, the conversation shifts to limits what the minister is willing to discuss and what is being pushed out of scope. This matters because when discussions about foreign interference are narrowed or deflected, Canadians are left wondering who decides what is relevant and why certain topics are avoided at critical moments. You will hear a clear pushback. You will hear the question expand from one appointment to a broader issue, whether foreign interference, foreign registries, and protecting critical infrastructure can really be separated from major legislation. This is important for people living in Canada because these issues touch elections, energy, transportation, and national security. What is hiding here is not a technical detail. It is a fundamental question about what the government is willing to answer and when. This is why it is important to listen until the end. Important points need to hear. Limiting discussion scope can prevent full transparency on serious national issues. Foreign interference is directly connected to critical infrastructure and public safety. Deflecting questions does not remove the risk, it only delays addressing it. Canadians deserve clear answers when national security and foreign influence are involved.
Respectfully ask that you keep to those parameters. If you wish me to come on another matter, I have made myself available.
Apparently,
on a number of occasions.
when we do that, we can't actually get it, even if the parliamentary secretary agrees to it. So you say you're not here to talk about foreign interference. Are you saying that Bill C8, critical infrastructure, protecting our critical infrastructure from foreign adversaries, are you saying that our foreign interference and our foreign registry is not germane to that bill? Am I hearing that right?
What we learned from this video is simple. The official story can sound confident, but when you listen closely, the details don't line up. We saw how 30,000 removal orders suddenly became 62,000. We heard that thousands of people are still being sought for removal, that addresses exist, but may not be accurate, and that enforcement is delayed by process, verification, and time. We also learned that even on serious issues like foreign interference and national security, simple questions about dates and accountability can go unanswered for far too long. This video shows Canadians something most people never get to see: how decisions are questioned, how answers shift, and how important information is often hidden behind technical language and procedure. These issues are not abstract. They affect public safety, trust in government, immigration enforcement, and the future direction of Canada. If you are a normal Canadian, you don't usually get access to these conversations, but now you do. If you want to stay informed, if you want real breakdowns of what's happening in Canada, and if you don't want to miss what others overlook, subscribe to Canada Insight Network for the latest immigration news, Canada current affairs, more House of Commons breakdowns, and new projects coming into Canada. Stay informed, stay aware. This is Canada Insight Network.